like chicken?
Do you like chicken?
Becoming a parent is a big step in anyone's life. And what would you do if the doctor told you that something was wrong with your child? How would you feel? Would you start thinking about how to help your child, the statistics on how many other children are going to be like yours in the world? Many of us in the room are parents. We do have multiple children. We are mothers, we are fathers. I myself am a parent, and I know that it would be really hard for me to think about my daughter like this, but I would want to know who else is like my child, how many other children in school would be like her. In America, more than 3 million children are born every single year, and about 15% of them are born with some form of disability. According to the Center of Disease Control, 3,999,000 are born in the U.S. in the year 2015. The children's impacts will affect their life in some form or fashion. No two disabilities are the same. When we think about the number of children in school and how many of the children have some form of disabilities, the numbers can end up being very astronomical. According to the Center of Disease Control, in 2014 to 2015, the number of children and youth the ages of 3 to 21 receiving special education services was 6.8 million children for the year. 13% of all public schools, it accounted for 13% of all the students in public schools. Along with the children and youth receiving special services, 35% had some form of a straight learning disability. In 1990 to 1991, children accounted for 11% of all the disabilities in public schools. Then, if you jump to the years 2004 to 2005, we jumped from 11% to 14%. When we think about children and the spectrum that they're on and what their form of disabilities are, we have a wide range. We range from autism, which is a very common disability of children in schools because it has such a broad spectrum of where a child can be. In America, 1 in 68 children will be diagnosed with some form of autism by the time they are 2 to 6 months old, which is a very, very young age. Another one is an attention deficit disorder, which is also known as ADHD. About 9% of school-age children suffer with ADHD. My daughter personally does. Children from the ages of 13 to 18 have ADHD, and about 4.1% of all Americans suffer from a form of ADHD. One common disability that we see in children is Down syndrome. That is something that is very noticeable by the facial features of the child. Down syndrome is one of the most common disabilities and one that is easily seen in children. Roughly 6,000 children are born every single year with Down syndrome. America is made up of all different kinds of people, and many of these people are suffering with some form of disability, whether it's a learning disability in math, science, history, reading, all the way to severely autistic, severely handicapped, and cannot fend for themselves. As we know, many children in America are born with some form of disability. And how do you think you would be able to deal with this? As a parent, would you be able to handle it? Would you want to know the statistics? Would you want to know more information than just how many other children are like your son or daughter?